Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So I haven't gone live here in a while, doing a poolside chat. I want to talk a little bit about inflation. This inflation, a lot of people get up in arms of it, upset. This inflation just brings on new opportunities. If you've been around long enough, you've seen these opportunities come and go. You've seen the benefit of very low interest rates, very high interest rates, and there's a benefit to everything. Every crisis, or whatever you want to perceive as a crisis, it's an opportunity. Every change brings an opportunity. And as tough as I see things are going to be on the fixed income, I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. And I can talk a little bit about that, give you some examples, and I'll do that. How about some of you watching? Hey, Delta, glad you're here. Or some of you concerned about it? In what ways are you worried about it, and how it affects you? Obviously, things have gotten much more expensive. I can tell you, like air conditioners that I pay $4,500 for are now like $9,200. A lot of that has to do with the bad supply chain, but also, people able to charge more, and they're doing it. I don't know, but what are your thoughts out there? What concerns you most? Also, hey, please hit that like button while you're watching. I appreciate it. And but I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Listen, real estate's been awesome, and I see people that are concerned. Now I'm somebody that gets concerned sometimes when I don't need to. It's because I came from nothing, no income, to speak of. Last job I had, I think I made $8 an hour, and then I went self-employed, which is really tough, coming from nothing. Hey, Dennis. Yeah, I'm back online. Sorry about that. Yeah, as you've seen, the production's gotten a little better with Zach at the helm of the production studio. But to be honest, I've just been kind of chasing and nailing down opportunities here lately. I've probably spent a little over $10 million in new properties I've purchased in the last in the last 6-8 months, something like that. And I've got some properties I'm just kind of taking care of, cleaning up, making them really nice, cleaning them up. I've actually had some theft here lately, by the way. In fact, I invented a new trailer, food trailer, kind of an alarm and warning system. I'll show that to you guys when you get a chance. A lot of you guys don't know I'm a little bit of an inventor, and got a few patents and some things I've made in the past, but it's kind of a cool thing, because I've had a couple break-ins here lately at the food parks. Very tough on people. Copper's expensive. Thieves will try to steal the extension cords. They'll steal a $250 extension cord, throw it in a fire, melt it down for the copper that's maybe worth $40. It's really a shame, but it happens. But I've thwarted that. Ring cameras, I got cameras on things. Well, let's get back to the inflation. So, look, let's just say that your expenses, let's just say you make $75,000 a year, okay? So the key thing here is, what are your assets worth? What are your assets compared to your income? Let's just say you have $75,000, in the bank or invested somehow, and you have $75,000 a year income. Well, now inflation hits, right? And now it's costing you $7,500 more a year to live. And that's probably pretty close on par with most of you. If you agree or disagree, let me know. But so let's just say you're lucky enough, maybe you're a government worker, maybe you get a 3% raise, and so now you're going to pick up another $2,100 a year. So that takes out, not quite a third, but maybe 30% of your $7,500 deficit compared to last year when things were, a little less. Okay, so now you still got that other deficit. Well, so now let's say you have $75,000 in the bank. So if you can make 10% more on your $75,000 more, 10% more on your $75,000, well then you've kind of made the inflation a wash for you. That's tough to do. But if you had $150,000, now you only got to make 5% on that to make it a wash. And on and on and on, right? But see, if you got $1 million in assets, or $1 million, say, in real estate or something, you only need to make another 1.5% on your $1 million to knock out 15,000. Really, you only need to make 0.75. Okay, less than 0.75% is all you need to make on your $1 million to take away that $7,500 a year, deficit that this inflation has caused. And so this is why it's so important that you do become an investor and you do start building, that nest egg. Because if you only have the money that you make, and you don't invest, then it's very difficult, to create another, $15,000 or just say $7,500 a year is relatively simple to do if you have several $100,000 of investments. You can raise it. It's not a big deal. So Ryan wrote here, and Ryan's in the class, biggest concern is there will be less construction and job creation. Okay, that's your biggest concern. Okay, and so Ryan, are you in construction? Because I've been in construction. I owned a cabinet shop for 10 years, and we just simply change gears from new construction to remodels, and then it kind of becomes a fighting ground. You're competing, which here's the other thing. Here's something interesting too. If you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, if you're a framer, guess what? There's almost nobody to replace you. Their skills are just fading away. The trades, and I tell everybody, man, good to have a trade under your belt because you can always work. But so get a trade if you don't have a trade, because it's a good thing to have to fall back on. But is that what you're talking about, Ryan? You're saying biggest concern is there'll be less construction? I mean, I'm assuming that's what you're worried about. But no, big plans. No, you know what? You guys look, and I'm actually getting ready. I'm going to be going to jiu-jitsu here. You guys know I'm heavy into jiu-jitsu. I love it. Highly recommend it for anybody out there. But jiu-jitsu, I kind of find analogies with jiu-jitsu and real estate. In as much as, when you're in jiu-jitsu, when you're wrestling, grappling with somebody else, you really can't just plan exactly what you're going to do because you don't know exactly what they're going to do. So a lot of coming out on top and beating somebody out, getting them to submit, is you just simply making changes and adjustments to your game as you're wrestling or fighting your opponent. And that's kind of how real estate is too. And so, like I say, I welcome the inflation. I mean, I hate it. I know it's tough on people. Don't get me wrong. I don't welcome it in respect that I'm going to make more of my money. In all honesty, the biggest money is made when values are going up or when values are going down. When it's just middle of the road, you can always make money there too. But it's the drastic changes. It's stuff that causes panic. And inflation will cause panic. And there will be some fantastic opportunities as a result. And so, but again, it's like jiu-jitsu, okay, so they're doing the inflation move on me. Well, I'm going to make adjustments in my game to make money on inflation. And it's the same thing if interest rates are real low and even the values aren't going up, then I'm going to do something else. What else we got here? Ryan wrote, yes, sales rep for equipment rental company. Not really concerned about myself, just overall market conditions. Gotcha. Davey wrote, Tom, quick question, single family or multifamily? Doesn't matter, dude. Get in the class. Listen, it doesn't matter. I buy anything and everything. The reason I always make money is because I always buy under value. It doesn't matter. All real estate has value. You just, there is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Don't make a bad deal and you'll make a fortune. Jorge wrote, I believe he's referring to the upcoming recession possibly. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how people react. We'll see how people respond. And you got to remember, the government, the government screws things up all the time. They do all the wrong things for all the wrong reasons. And they oftentimes pick the winners and create losers and create winners. And so we all got to deal with that. That's just how it is. But anyways, so look, that's all I wanted to share with is just simply, listen, don't panic. Just become an investor if you're not an investor. And if you're already somebody that has a few $100,000, that's good. Listen, it's going to be a small adjustment for you. Eat more eggs. Eggs are cheap. if you're, we want to cut back, they're good for you too. Just eat a little leaner, eat eggs, and cut back your spending. It's always a good idea to do that now, right? It's like, I used to ride motocross, and I had buddies that were much heavier into it than I am. And one buddy in particular, Cornelius, he dresses for the crash, right? You dress for the crash. All those leathers, you put the boots on, you put all the protective gear, the helmet, all these things you put on. They're not always the most comfortable. It'd be great just to go ride your motorcycle in shorts and flip-flops, but you are going to be toast if you have a crash. And that's one of the things you'll learn from me is, you dress for the crash, right? You're not going to crash. Doesn't mean you're going to crash. But if it does crash, you're prepared. You're just going to roll with it, and you're going to get up, and you're not going to be beat to shit. Tom, do you deal with surveys on every transaction? No, I do waive surveys all the time. I'm not too concerned about surveys on in a regular subdivision, to be quite honest. I can go to the nearest fence post and dig around that, or dig around the nearest telephone pole, and I'm going to find the steel rods that make up, and I can measure from one rod to the other and confirm, based on the old survey, that I found the property lines. I don't always use a survey. I don't feel I need to. A lot of times bank will insist on it. When if you're new and you're lending, you're borrowing the money, they're going to insist on it. I don't want you to have one that's, no older than a year, unless they waive it. Sometimes they will. So Liam wrote, good to see you in here, Liam. I'm looking hard for deals. Slim pickings right now. Yeah, don't believe me. When people get into this mode, there's going to be people that are going to panic sale that shouldn't. There's going to be stupid decisions made that create opportunities for all of us. And hey, please hit that like and subscribe button. Guys, I got to head to jiu-jitsu, and I still got to try to get a 5-minute jacuzzi. That's my warm-up. So I jump in a hot jacuzzi before I go roll. Gus Fring, glad I locked in my 2.25 30-year fix. Congratulations, Gus. That's smart. I adjusted some of my lines of credit, my revolving lines of credit. Remember, R-lock. Get an R-lock always when you can. Revolving line of credit. You can pay the money back, and then you can pull it back out, and you can get it, wash it back and forth. It's the way to go. But yeah, congrats on that, Gus. That's smart. And listen, you gotta watch these things. That's dressing for the crash, by the way, right? That's part of dressing for the crash. Me too. I made adjustments. I couldn't count on interest rates staying low. I could see the Fed is indicating they're going to go up, so I locked in. I changed some of my variable rates into fixed on my lines of credit, and so I'm unaffected by the jump ups. It's cool. What kind of loans do you go for from the bank? I go for, I'm all about interest. I like low interest. And so when I borrow money, I like to borrow money lowest rate, in recent times, of course, fixed rate, but also I like R-locks, revolving lines of credit. I just borrowed $1.6 million against a building, or maybe $1.8 million. And I say borrow, I didn't take the money, but it's there. I have a checkbook. I can write up to a check for $1.8 million on that property. I got another one for $1.2 million. I got others for $1 million plus. That money is there for the taking when I need it, and I will use it when somebody gets in a pinch and gets in a bind that made a mistake, didn't prepare, but has to panic sell, and I'll spend some of that money then, and that's where I'll start to clean up. And so anyways, hey, look, if you want to get in the mentorship, some of you guys have been kicking the tires forever. I hate to say it, you're probably never going to make it. You're going to go nowhere if you kick the tires forever. You got to decide who you want to learn from. You got to decide. You got to make these decisions. You got to procrastinate yourself to financial death. But anyways, there's a code there, Tom10off. You can get in the mentorship. You can use that right now. It ain't going to be there forever, but urge you to do it. Got a great class, fantastic, amazing class. Hundreds of hours now of me live teaching that all of you get benefit from when you get in the mentorship. But I got to go. I'm going to go roll. Good to see you, Liam. Call me anytime. Liam's in the class. Ryan Rester. Anybody you guys know, I'm always available to you. Take care. We'll see you.